deeply into your scalp to relieve some of that pain. So really kind of an awesome, versatile product that can really be used for any hair texture. So if you're looking to support a woman of color founder as well, I definitely suggest going to Frig's website, and maybe not even just the attuning hair oil or the attuning hair potion. You can take a look at some other stuff that's on her site as well. And I'll point out too that each purchase goes to support a mental health organization chosen by Frig. So a little bit of the conscious capitalism element there.
That whole company sounds incredible. I love that. They've also got this really gorgeous packaging. I'm big into packaging. I think that the look of a product is incredibly important to me, especially when you're giving somebody a gift for the holidays. You want it to be a beautiful looking product as well. So I'm a smoker. I'm not an edible person. I'm not really a CBD person. I'm much more of a smoker. What would you get for me for this holiday season?
For you, for this holiday season, I would get, my apologies if I'm not pronouncing this correctly, the Yamna Canagar. And it's the first cannabis cigar available in Massachusetts. And again, this is more into that like bougie chic kind of zone of smoking. It comes with a gold tip right at the end of the cigar, and so it's made with a palm leaf wrap, and it has a corn husk filter, and it's got that hollow center for kind of that precise airflow and pull. And each cannabis cigar is packed with a full nug, not trim or shake. And as I said before, it's got that 24 karat gold inlay at the tip for that kind of like extra luxe feeling while you're smoking it. I saw some reviews online, and lots of people were saying that it's definitely like a different experience from just like rolling yourself a joint. Kind of having that luxe big cigar feeling is maybe something that you might not think of for yourself, and hasn't even been widely available in Massachusetts yet. So that's kind of the thing that I might gift you, Brit, if you're just trying to do some smoking.
Oh, that sounds phenomenal. I could definitely do with a Canagar. I find that when people roll me blunts, it's too thick at the end. It's like I'm almost like unable to pull the whole thing because it's too much. It's like drinking out of a massive straw. It feels stupid.
Yeah.
I like to roll a joint that has a really thin tip at the end. A really I'll roll a little roach at the end. I don't like much at the end. So that sounds perfect. I want to look like Audrey Hepburn, but kind of cooler when I smoke. I love that product. Finally, I want to ask, what was your personal favorite out of everything that you wrote about this issue?
Oh gosh, really, I will harp on that Frig Beauty attuning hair potion, but the thing that made me like most excited, that like widened my eyes completely, was seeing that we are featuring a product that is promoted by Jane Fonda. It's Uncle Bud's hemp pain relief cream. And you know, I feel like folks of my age and younger probably only know of Jane Fonda as one half of Grace and Frankie, but what she was known for a very long time throughout the late 60s, 70s, and 80s was not only as like Hollywood starlet and activist, but as a health and wellness and fitness sort of thought leader. So she's kind of reprising that role as a spokesperson for Uncle Bud's hemp with this pain relief cream. And, you know, in case for some reason Jane Fonda's cosign isn't enough for you, which that would make me confused, but if you need a little more evidence than that, there's 500 positive reviews on Trustpilot for this pain relief cream. So definitely take a look at that. And on the topic of things for people who are cannabis curious, but maybe they haven't ever smoked a joint in their life, there's a book that I got a chance to write about called The New Chardonnay, The Unlikely Story of How Marijuana Went Mainstream. And so this is a book that is definitely for somebody who wants to know a little bit more about kind of the history of cannabis. And I'm thinking, you know, nerdy history buff father-in-law or an uncle who has some questions about cannabis and can appreciate a good historical analysis that explores sort of the intersecting social, economic, and political forces that have brought cannabis consumption in all of its varied forms to the mainstream. So in that book's $28. You can gift it via an audiobook platform. Super easy to run out and purchase.
That sounds great. I might buy that for myself. Wow. I'm that nerd. I want to know about all of that. That sounds awesome. Now, as much as I love all these products, we know that the holidays is not only about giving gifts. So what can you tell us about how we can give to support local communities and especially our local cannabis community?
You know, it was just Giving Tuesday very recently, and we're talking a lot about, you know, what sort of products can we buy for people that we love. And I think that's, you know, a decent way to show love is by purchasing things for people and giving sweet, thoughtful gifts. But I think what we also need to acknowledge is that there's a lot of need right now, and that, you know, in my opinion, anybody in Massachusetts that's enjoying recreational cannabis must come to that enjoyment with an acknowledgement that there are still so many people in the US that are currently incarcerated on what we can all kind of agree are bogus cannabis related charges. And this is a topic that I know has been discussed on this podcast before and has been discussed in the pages of Different Leaf. And if this is an issue that you connect with and that you care about, and want to put some money and some of your free time towards addressing this issue, I highly recommend supporting Black and Pink Massachusetts, which is a prison abolition group led by and fighting alongside incarcerated queer and HIV positive people in Massachusetts. You can follow them on Instagram at Black and Pink MA, and you can send some good wishes to incarcerated LGBTQIA or HIV positive people with a donation-based complete holiday card kit at that link. So Black and Pink is an awesome organization. They operate nationally, but this is specifically the Black and Pink Massachusetts. So
that's amazing. Very important stuff. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much for being a part of our podcast today. I hope you have a very happy holidays. I hope you get some of those things in your own stocking. And hopefully we'll get to read some more from you in the upcoming issues, and we'll get to talk to you again about what you review.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I'm a big fan, and I wish for you just the most restful and safe and chill holiday season, if you can manage that.
Thank you. Oh, I'm trying. And now for your latest U.S. cannabis news. Last week, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a historic bill known as the MORE Act, which would federally legalize cannabis in the United States. All but 6 Democrats in the House supported the bill, and all but 5 Republicans opposed it. If it passes into law, it would remove cannabis from the federal list of controlled substances, and it would expunge the records of anyone with prior cannabis-related convictions, while reinvesting those funds in communities hit hardest by the drug war. Of course, the bill passing through the House shows that there is huge support for cannabis legalization, but there is still a long way to go before weed is legal from sea to shining sea. Famous for being inexplicably pro-hemp but anti-marijuana, Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will likely sweep this legalization bill under the rug. That is, if he stays in control of the Senate. That's why the upcoming Senate races in Georgia are now all the more important, especially for people with marijuana offenses on their records. Although lawmakers say there's still a lot of work to be done to the MORE Act, if both Democrats win their Senate races in Georgia in January, the bill has a much better chance of passing into law in some form in the coming years. Right after passing the MORE Act, the House kept being cool by passing the Medical Marijuana Research Act on December 9th. If it passes into law, it would allow researchers to access cannabis from local dispensaries instead of the crappy low-grade grass that's currently grown for federally approved research purposes on a farm at the University of Mississippi. The Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission finalized recreational delivery rules last week with a strong focus on equity. For the first 3 years, all delivery business licenses in Massachusetts will go to companies whose owners were impacted by the federal government's war on drugs. The 3-to-1 vote means that home delivery of adult-use cannabis could be a thing in Massachusetts by summer 2021. A new study by the University of Sydney has concluded that CBD does not significantly impair driving. The study, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, found that similar levels of THC did impair drivers for around 4 hours, with similar effects to having a blood alcohol level of 0.05%, which is just below the legal driving limit. Conclusion: don't smoke and drive. Smoke and order stuff from apps or websites. And remember, you can buy your gifts this year from some of the incredible companies that we talked about on today's episode, all of which you can read more about in the fall issue of Different Leaf, the magazine. Head on over to differentleaf.com and buy yourself a copy or buy a friend a copy because, hey, 'tis the season. A huge thanks again to our guest, Different Leaf writer John Arvanitis. If you want to learn more about the Black and Pink initiative he was discussing, you can go to blackandpinkma.org. If you love what we do, we'd love it if you rate and review us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're following us on social media at Different Leaf so you can see all the products that we talked about today. You can follow me on social media at Brit the British. Thanks as always to our magnificent producer, Andrea Maraskin, and thanks to Homebody for the music.